Alrighty, well, here we go. Another day and another step in our process of creating more money in less time. Blue, be quiet. Sitting out here on the front porch, Chris Williams here with Blue, if he'll be quiet. We're waiting for kids to get home from school. So, as you know, I work less than an hour a day to produce all the income we produce. And I have a great process around that. So, I'm trying to teach that process right here, day by day. So, what we're doing, if you haven't jumped in and before now, we're creating a new business or income stream literally day by day, live every day. Some videos are live, some I'm pre-recording. If I can just knock it out like this right now, and then I'll drop it out daily. And I'll answer all your questions. My email address is chris.williams@centhold.com. That's CHRIS dot WILLIAMS at Centhold. That's spelled SENTHOLD.com. Shoot me an email. I will answer your questions if you get stuck. I'll shoot you these templates we're using. If you get lost in the process and you're like, hey, where's day number 7? No problem at all. I'll point you in the right direction, get you all the help we can get you. Okay. Also, Chris Williams HQ is my YouTube channel where I'm posting all this. If you're finding it somewhere else, good for you. You can jump back over there and look at a playlist called More Time in Less Money, and we'll walk you through the process. All right, so let's keep going. I'm doing this live so you can watch, and I'm going step by step. And you fill in your answers, though. Don't use my answers. This is about you. So fill in your own answers, and you'll walk through the process, and you'll end up with a business or income stream of your own that won't take a whole lot of time every day to manage just by following the steps through. If you do the process, you'll get the results, I promise. So today we're talking minimum viable offer, MVO. Now, what is a minimum viable offer? And I'll give you a little backstory here. Minimum viable offer is not the minimum you can deliver or offer to your client or prospect or customer. It is the minimum amount that you can offer to get them their most ideal result. All right. So, for instance, it's like if you're teaching someone to ride a bike, and you may be the bike salesperson or you may be the bike riding trainer. Let's just say there's two halves of that. You could be both. You could have a product that's a bike. You could have a product that's actually a training course for how to ride a bike. The minimum viable offer would be something that would get that person to where they're able to ride a bike safely, stay up on two wheels, and have a great time doing that. An overextension of an offer, so too much offer, would be helping them ride a bike and helping them jump ramps and teaching them how to build a bike and teaching them how to harvest rubber trees to make their own tires, right? That's way down the road too far. If they're Googling how to ride a bike and your product pops up and you can sell them a good beginner bike and you can teach them the process or one or the other and refer them to the other person to help out, that's perfect, right? That's a minimum viable offer. It's the least amount you can do that gets them their desired result. If you give more than their desired result, you think, hey, that's adding value. I want to do that. No, actually, people get lost. For some reason, we as humans, we get lost. If there's too much information out there, we get tangled up and not sure exactly, is that all I want to do? Is it too much, too little? Giving them as specific information as they can get, straight down the middle, that's the best way to go. So today we're going to talk about minimum viable offer. There's pros and cons to that we'll talk about, mostly pros to you and your prospective clients and customers. And so let's jump in here. Now, you hopefully have done this worksheet right here. If this looks odd to you, or if it's the first time you've seen this, go back several days. This is 3 days worth of work right here, 3 sessions worth of work. You will need this to make sense of our minimum viable offer. Then you should have seen this. In the last video you watched, you should have seen defining your product or service. And we talked about this sweet spot between your passion, your skills, ability, and your market's felt needs or wants. Okay? This is such an important piece to find right here. There's a little bit of research that goes into getting here, but once you have this figured out, then the minimum viable offer, the MVO, will make a ton of sense. All right, let's jump right in here and do the minimum viable offer. So let me give you some examples. And I'll use some examples that we talked about in the last video because that's an easy. Well, let's just use the bike riding example. That's brand new and it works fine. So the bike riding example, let's say our product is a beginner's bike for beginners. Okay. And if you're new to my videos, you'll know that I'm a bad speller. I'm not going to offer us how to spell words class. Don't worry. All right. So let's say a service we're going to offer is going to be down here. And we'll offer a service that is how to ride a bike. And this will be classes, okay? Classes or online courses. It could be live in person. It could be however you'd like to flesh that out. It's totally fine. Okay, the cost to you, just fill this in as we go. The cost to you, let's say it's a bike for a beginner and you're buying this bike. You're sourcing it. You're not actually building the bike. If you're building it good for you, let's say you're sourcing it from somewhere else that sells you a bike for $200 and you can sell this bike for $400, all right? So the cost to you is $200. The value to the market is $400. Make sense? The result is a new bike. Let's say the client has a bike. That is the result. Now, I'm not saying the result is that the client learned how to ride a bike, because you provided a beginner bicycle for someone who maybe did an internet search or a local search for at the local fitness club, whatever, how to ride a bike. All right. And somehow you got this person referred to you. We'll talk through traffic and how to get those clients at some point in the future. But right now, let's just talk about what your offer is before we start getting people to come look at your offer. Let's jump down here and look at how to ride a bike. So this is a service. This is a product up here. The bike is a product. Teaching someone how to ride a bike is a service. It's a product if you want to look at it and say, well, let's say, Chris, I'm doing this in an online course and I'm going to sell it on Udemy or some other online course website like that. Sure, that's a digital product that you've produced, but it's a service also because you're actually getting in there with them. It's like you're right there with them in the process. So let's just refer to that as a service. You don't have to be face-to-face literally doing something, holding the back of the bicycle seat and the steering wheel while you're teaching them for it to actually be a service. You can do that virtually. So the cost to you. Let's say the cost to you is, let's just say a month of website hosting and 20 hours of your time to create some videos that show how to teach someone how to ride a bike right out there in the parking lot near your house. And you just take your iPhone out there and you record those things, you do the voiceover, and you put them up on a little website and you charge somebody to figure out how to ride a bike, all right? Let's say the cost to you is 1 month of web hosting, which is going to be, let's say that's $15 for hosting. I'm just making this up. You can find some cheaper, you can find some more expensive, but you'll get the point. And let's say it took 20 hours of your time. So 20 hours of time. And let's say that you make, make 25. Yesterday we used an example, or a few days ago, an example of someone making $50,000, which if you break that down on their full-time $50,000, that's $25 an hour. So 25 times 20, just to make sure we get the math right here, $500. So that cost you $500, all right? You could have worked a little overtime or extra time in theory and used your same skill set that you're getting paid for right now on a daily basis. Instead of going out there and filming all that video and doing all the editing, you could have gone out there and made $500 with that $20, okay? So making this has a cost to you. There's nothing free in the world. If it takes your time, it has a cost. All right, value to the market. Well, they don't necessarily earn money by learning to ride a bike unless they're going to get a bike riding paper route or become a courier. Then I guess there's value attached to that. But the value to that is pride, security. If they need transportation, that's such a transportation. Let's say community. If somebody's looking for how to ride a bike online, they could be a kid. They could also be an adult who never learned. And they want to go join bike riding groups and ride around town and do things with their friends. So there's lots of things that are valuable in a service that don't necessarily mean money. For instance, if you're in the health and wellness industry, if you're a yoga instructor or a weight loss instructor or great at working out in the gym, you could teach people that. You don't necessarily have to be a physical trainer at your local YMCA. You can teach people that online. You can teach them in person. But same thing there. There's not necessarily money involved with getting healthy or fit, but it's like this. There's pride, there's self-worth, there's community involved. There's lots of things, self-respect, let's just say self-worth. Lots of things that are created when someone feels good about a new skill or ability that they're learning. And let this truck go by. So, sorry about the noisy truck. The things they can value here are important. Write them down because you're really selling. If that's the market you've researched, again, jumping back up here, if you did market research on people who were learning to ride a bike, if that happened to be your thing, then you know what to fill in there. All right. If your market research was learning how to sell bikes, if you're like, hey, I'm going to sell bikes or whatever your product is, you've done your market's felt needs and wants. You know what that product is worth, what they'll pay for it. And you'll also know the intrinsic value that comes in bike ownership, um, pride of ownership, right? So there's lots of things that aren't dollars that you need to put in this value to market. Now, the result is that someone learns to ride, all right? Save on transportation. That actually has a value to it, by the way. Look at that. Let's say they are doing the bus or the Uber right now. They could save, let's just put $100 a month. See how I'm filling this out and it kind of comes to you as you go through the process? Just weave yourself in and out of this and get a good idea of what's valuable to the market. Okay. So, learn to ride a bike, transportation. We got these things. Okay, cool. Save on transportation. Great. This is how you would start filling out this worksheet. Now, where this goes next is pricing. I've put in two simple examples of a product and a service. All right. We're going to get into layering these products. So, for instance, if you wanted to make this product or service more valuable to your client, I know we haven't dealt with how much do we sell it for? Don't worry. I think we put a $400 price right here, but 400, quite frankly, isn't enough. You can do better than that. So, when we get into layering, which we will do in the next lesson. Just trying to check my notes here. Yeah, make sure that's the right sequence. Yeah, let's hit the next lesson. So next lesson, we'll talk about how to layer these products and services. And what that means is that Bikes for Beginners, we're going to start throwing in more and more products and services that can come along with this bike. So for instance, if you're selling the bike for beginners, you could reach out to this how to ride your bike person who's created the course. Or if you're the course creator, you can reach out to the bike salespeople and you can cross-sell and offer products and get commission or some sort of deal going by making it easier for this person. So if you're, for instance, if you're the how to ride the bike teacher, you could say that as a sub-sell, you could bring in the bike for beginners and you could sell it to them for $400, but you could say, hey, if you buy it through me, you get a discount on buying them together, and you're going to get the course for 20% off and the bike for 10% off, and that's a huge savings to you. And you're actually going to get a commission. You, as the course builder, would get a commission from the person who's selling the bike. Now, you see that all the time when you're buying things online. All the time. You may not realize it, but if you're into health food, for instance, you may be following someone online who's a health food trainer, and they're selling you protein powder, or they're selling you their vegetable mix that's powdered that you can put into a smoothie, or supplements, or they're selling you another course that's brought in by another trainer that they love and respect. All those things are connected to that person who you're following, and they're getting money for that. They're getting paid for recommending those products and services. It's a great thing. There's nothing wrong or dirty about that. It makes it easier for your potential customer to find a fully connected suite of products and services to make their job and their life easier. So we want to make sure that we write down what it costs you, the actual value that it brings to your market, because we're going to charge them for the value. We're not going to charge them 20% or 50% or 100% markup of what it costs us. So for instance, if it took $500 of my time to create this course and $15 of hosting, well, if I'm selling the course one time, just once, I need to sell it for more than $515. But if I've created a course online for how to ride a bike, hopefully I'll be able to sell it 10 times every month, right? So I don't have to sell it for $500. I could sell it for $100 each course. And if I sold it 10 times every month, I'm making $1,000 every month. And I only had to spend my time and resource one time, and I get $1,000 because I can sell it 10 times over and over and over, just in month one. Month two, I could do the same thing or even more. So make sure that we're pricing not according to what it cost us. I don't want to say, well, if I'm going to sell it 10 times, then I'm just going to charge somebody, let's see, 1/10 of 500 is $50. I want to market up double that. So I'm going to sell it for $100 a piece. I didn't get to my $100 because of doubling what a tenth of 500 would be. I can get to $100 because I know it's going to save them $100 in transportation. They got a guaranteed win right there. Well, let's say that they get to go out with their friends. Let's say that just time with friends and community on a bike ride is worth, I don't know, let's just say it's priceless, but let's just say it's worth $50, all right? Per month, just in connection with friends. Self-worth, that's totally priceless. And pride, I'm putting priceless. That's so cheesy, but it's true. Seems like I'm selling diamonds. Okay, so those are priceless. So if I've got transportation, saving that $100 a month, and you're going to have this bike, let's just say for the first 90 days, we're going to save you $300 by learning how to ride a bike. For the first year, I'm going to save you $1,200 and convert you into a bike riding fool in your city. You're going to be amazing. Well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and throw in a bike chain, and I'm going to throw in the bike, and all of that included is only $800. You're coming out $300 ahead because you're buying my How to Ride Your Bike course, and you're getting a bike, and you're getting a bike chain for only $800. That's an amazing deal. That's really cool, right? So you're selling the bike salesperson's bike. You're selling a chain for the bike. You're selling the course, and you're making $800. All right? That's tremendous. Let's say you have to pay this bike guy back something, or he pays you something. You see how this works. It all works out, and you're making way more all of a sudden. You're probably making $500 per sale out of that deal. It's way more than $100, okay? That's tremendous. You're adding more value because we're selling to the value that the market experiences, not the value of the product or service, meaning not what it cost you plus a markup. This is not Walmart. It's not a clothing store. It's not a car lot. In fact, when you get into luxury cars, you'll find that luxury car prices are not priced on what it costs the factory to make them. Like when you go to buy a Toyota or a Honda, which I actually own several Toyotas. I love Toyotas. But when you get into luxury car rental and purchases, or any luxury product like that, luxury clothes, luxury purses for some of you ladies who have really expensive purses, luxury shoes. I love gear for climbing and mountaineering and outdoor sports. And every now and then I find a piece of gear that I realize this is priced not because of the usefulness of this piece of gear, but because it is the elite piece of gear. And there's a markup for that. It's not just 50% of the cost in addition that they're selling it to you for, but it's actually the prestige and the pride you get from using or wearing that piece of gear. You understand how that works. You see clothes priced that way. A pair of jeans for $1,000, you got to be kidding. Well, I promise that the cotton in those jeans or the spandex or whatever makes them stretchy and hold their form, that amazing color blue, that's not worth $1,000. It's the experience you receive by wearing that pair of jeans. It's a perceived value that they're selling to you, okay? So you gotta think through your products and services that way. Fill out this chart. Make your own chart, shoot me an email, I'll send it to you, whatever you like. But fill this thing out. Get your products and services right over here on the side. Get the cost to you figured out, like what does it actually cost you in time or money so you know if you can do this, and then get the value to the market in here. And then the result that person gets from that product or service. Now, let's talk about the minimum viable offer for a minute. Okay, if I put in here that I'm also going to not just do how to ride your bike, but I'm going to layer this in, and one of my layers is going to be how to jump ramps, like we mentioned before. And I'm going to also teach them how to build a bike. Okay. So now I'm in competition with the bike salesperson up here, but too bad for them, right? How to jump ramps. This is going to take me another 20 hours. Same website, so I don't have to worry about that, but it is 20 hours or another $500 of my time. It's also going to take me how to build a bike. This is going to be big. I'm going to say this is, let's just double this up. Let's say this is going to be 40 hours of my time to show them how to build a bike, start to finish. And that's actually $1,000 of my time, right? That's big. Now, They're going to get the pride, same pride. They're going to get a little more pride down here for building their own bike. That actually is pretty cool. I'll give them that. And self-worth, which that's priceless for sure. And then how to jump ramps. I'm not sure they're actually going to get anything that's worth money. But again, more pride, more self-worth, right? Um, they're going to save some money down here. You see where I'm going with this. They're going to save $400. So let's just say save the cost of buying a new bike. That's worth something. Obviously, you're going to have to buy some supplies, so it's not going to be a pure $400, but you can explain that in your offer. So you see where I'm going here. I'm layering up this how to ride your bike, how to jump ramps, how to build a bike. But if the person Googled and searched for how to ride a bike, they're probably not looking for how to jump ramps. That's phase two. That really is the next thing that they have to worry about. It's down the road. How to build your bike. If you've got a brand new beginner bike rider, if they're 6 years old and they're Googling this, or if they're 60 years old and they're Googling this and they want to learn how to ride a bike, either way, first step for most of those beginner bike riders is probably not, what if I sat around in my garage for the next 8 weeks and ordered parts on eBay and built my own bike? And then I can go out and see if I can fall over in the parking lot. No, they want to know, okay, do I buy training wheels or not? And do I start with both feet down or one foot on the pedal? Should I start going down a hill? How do I use the brakes? What if I get scared and freak out? Do I need hand brakes or do I need foot brakes? They're looking for that basic instruction of how to ride a bike. Okay. So you've created an offer here that is not a minimum viable offer. This offer has now become an extra offer. There are upsells in here, and you could upsell and offer your clients and customers a little more, but I don't think they'd buy it. So you got to really be sensitive. This is why we go back and do our research right here on this your product or service section. You've got to really nail down what is the market's felt wants or needs, because if they're telling you all about the insecurities they have with not being able to ride a bike and how they wish they could go on a bike ride with their kids or their family or their friends, whatever it is they're talking about, that's the stuff you want to sell. That's the stuff you want to talk about in the value to the market. You want to talk about how important it is that you get to ride your bike with friends, right? That's that community section. We'll put ride with kids. How about that? If they've mentioned learn to ride safely, if they've mentioned how to pick a bike, that could be part of your course. Those are the things that you want to put in your minimum viable offer, not things that you think are super cool and jumping ramps is awesome because you're an expert bike rider. Good for you. Excuse me, but that's not step one. Okay. So, minimum viable offer, again, is not minimizing the value that you're going to bring to your client or customer. The minimum value offer is the minimum amount of work and process and product you can put in to get their desired result. So if their desired result is learn how to ride a bike, you got to deliver the thing that brings them that result with the minimum amount of effort that you have to put in. All right. That's super important to keep their head clear and pure in what they're going for. And it's also super important to get you a product that you can deliver quickly and efficiently and get out to the world so you can help them ride their bike. Okay, so that's all we have for this. I will get into layering and pricing your product in the next video, okay? So chris.williams@senthold.com, or that's SENTHOLD.com, or obviously if you're watching this somewhere else besides YouTube, jump over to our YouTube channel. It's Chris Williams HQ, and more money in less time. My kids are walking up the driveway right now from school, so I'm checking out for the day. Have a great one. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.